Oh, what's up, guys? I'm just going to do a wrap up here on markets. I think I'll start with BTC because we finally had obviously a big week as far as volume, as far as percentage move. We finally broke the base, all that stuff that you guys know. But cyclically, I kind of mentioned this in the room earlier. I'm just going to highlight it one more time. If you notice, I mean, the long-term wave that we were running on this 8.6 frequency came off of the highs from January, and then obviously Augie in September we didn't see the turn, right? We still were making lower highs into that cycle turn, so that doesn't bode well for the long term. Just count if you can't rally in a bear market after 8 to 9 months, then you got to kind of look out to the 13-month count, which is pretty standard, and Fibonacci and a lot of cycle work. There's a 13 count that shows up, so that puts you into January, February, and then when we look at this intermediate term wave, it's the same thing. So we actually peaked and rolled over, and then the market did this. Market rolled with the peak here in this cycle, so it kind of leads me to think that we've got more downside into at least January. There's a turning point here this weekend, and this is the first. Here, let me show you on the weekly. So there's a turning point this weekend, which matters, but I think this bigger term wave is what we really need to focus on. And when you look at the weekly, let me get off this chart. Oh, man. So when you look at the weekly, so we said we've been in a long-term bull market by the way we define our duration, and so we look at the model in a fractal manner, right? So there's smaller trends that build into the larger trends, but we were holding what we call our TMS, and you guys that know the model, that was right here at 5,800, and so we were still trend bullish longer term as long as we kept making higher lows, and 5,800 was a pivot. Well, this is the first week that we're going to close below that. So what that means is this is actually the first time we've legitimately had lower lows longer term. So by definition of how we define the trend, that's a new downtrend, bear market. Now this is only 1 week down, so next week is critical for follow through. But you got to play defense here. We sold futures this week. I took half of my BTC cash position down. Probably going to take more. See how this trades this weekend. And then, you never like to hit a bid or stop or take a risk off, but you got to realize that if this, you can just see on the monthly, if we're going to go to the bands and go one more leg down, and you don't raise cash, you're going to sit through another 50% drawdown back to 3,000 or even 2,500. It's where the bands here on the monthly. This has been one heck of a long monthly cycle. I mean, the monthly was hanging out here for months and months and months without any type of meaningful break back to the bottom of the range. And we've just been in this slide here for basically going on 11 months, 12 months. So is what it is. From a trend perspective, that's the next spot that I care about on the monthly is 3,500. So if you see those levels and some of the alts get cut in half again, I would rather raise cash now and then be able to buy twice the amount at that point in time, and at those price levels, and in that area and in that location. I won't hit on some other alts. Those of you guys that are in the crypto room, I made some updates across probably 5 different coins and what I'm doing. So a lot of risk taking, playing defense. Let's just touch on a couple of the other markets. We had a good week in options and in futures. We covered S&Ps well yesterday. I gave a little bit back, just a tiny back yesterday afternoon, but in the morning we really took profits well in our spider puts. We came out of the VIX exactly, pretty much on the high. Right up here in front of 21, that was a great trade, and then now we're all the way back down to 18.25 front month VIX today. So that was a good call. Hopefully you guys had a good, we really set up pretty well at the end of last week, or not the end, but into this lower high move 6-7 days ago. And then we talked about this was a short covering opportunity, and actually even went long Dow futures now, and we're getting a pretty good bounce. So I think you're supposed to expect more of the same into next week. I think there's room to get back above the bands here. We're going to kind of see how we react at 2765 in S&Ps. That was kind of a big level, intermediate term we broke down from. Let me see if I can show you in the hourly. We broke down kind of right in here. This was resistance, that was support, and then you bounced to a lower high, and that finally broke. So you got the 200 here on the hourly. A lot of traders are going to have that. 25.54 to 27.65. All right, is first kind of area resistance. Then you got 27.95, call it, and then the highs from a couple weeks ago, 28.20. But anyway, that's the call. This was a short covering opportunity. You got to be patient now to reshort. We're really kind of key off this daily cycle. All right. We've had a really beautiful count. I highlighted in the video yesterday. It's 8.6 frequencies done great. High, you had a higher high, pulled back to higher low, higher high, double top, failed, made a low, bounced to a lower high, new lower lows with a 9 count, bounced 8 days up, made a lower high exactly in front of the pivot, and then back down. We didn't complete a full 8-9 count back into the lows, but that rhythm has been there for sure. And then lastly, I just hit on bonds. I think you're supposed to be taking some profits here on long bonds that we've had on. And then I'm watching this 10-year really closely because it's a big level in yields. A 10-year, it's 308, and in 10s, it's like we've been talking about 119.05. I did sell some 10s and brought my core position up. So I'm playing a short in 10s, a long in long bonds. But you got to watch this level right here. If we start closing Monday above here, I think you're going to really squeeze the bond market, and we might have to start focusing on these highs that we were kind of talking about back here in August. So I'll be pretty aggressive buying 30s and even ultras next week if we get above this high, and I'll probably take half my 10-year position off and then try to just run with the long end. Anyway, guys, hope you had a great week. I posted some results in the room that we had. I did seven grand in options. We probably did like another 3 to 5 in futures. So we had a good week. I think next week will be a pretty patient week with the holiday. And like I said, if we like fading risk, being short, equities and being long bonds, and we might be a little bit busier in bonds next week. But I think shorting equities, you got to be a little bit patient. So it might be kind of a quiet week. But we'll have some trades. And then for those of you that might be new or kind of wondering how you join our team, I'm redoing my site right now. But if you go to www.jenkinsrm.com, jenkinsrm.com, we're redoing this site right now. But under the chat room, this is the easiest way to get involved with us. It's free to come in here, join the community. You can ask me questions, but from there we have some real-time alerts that this is where we're posting all of our trades. So here's in equities. This is what we're doing. I'm talking about being long the Dow in here. Did actually end up doing 1,800 a day in options, but that was from earlier today. So I mean, there's so many trades in here. There's a half a dozen, 2 dozen trades. So this is Dow, S&Ps recovering. This is just all week of alerts, guys. And then it's $99 a month. Anything crypto, anything equities, ETFs, and I'm doing option trades in there. What we're doing in the bond market, forex, commodities. So you guys get the point. That's the best way to get involved with us there. You can get those alerts on the mobile. It's a great feature. And that's pretty much it. We'll do some webinars next week. I want to talk about a new live room that we're going to have. And we'll talk a little bit more Forex. Sold some euros late in the day, but that trade's kind of early. I won't get into FX now. Hope you had a great weekend. We'll talk to you guys later.